same for you. People always looking at me like she ain't got a clue. Yeah, I'm corny as they come, but I'm pretty deep. Marching at the sound of his tongue, then I hit the knees. I'm unpopular, yeah, I'm unpopular. She's unpopular, yeah, she's unpopular. It's unpopular, yeah, it's unpopular. It's unpopular, yeah. It's unpopular. What up, 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 what up? What's poppin' pop? I don't know. I'm trying to find the opening. I feel like on my other like shows and different things that I've done, I've always had like my little catchy intro and stuff like that. I can't find it for this one. I think I have an awesome ending, which definitely was the Lord. Yeah, I don't have it for the intro just yet. So for now, what's poppin' and pop? It's corny, I know. Yeah, I wanted to come on here and talk a little bit more about dyslexia. So, just to further this wanting and yearning really to know more about what dyslexia is and how it affects me, I was in school and we had a center that was just full of learning more about anything behavioral, anything mental, and you could do like free screenings and all these different things. So I did some different screenings, and I had done screenings before for dyslexia before, but because this was a center that is specific for this, I decided to do one, and I did a few, I think, and it definitely checked out. And I was just like, I knew it. Like, and it was on the high side. And for dyslexia, and I think for there's the other one. I think it deals with math, and I can't think of how to pronounce it at the moment. But actually, no, I don't think I did. No, that's not true. But it was very high for dyslexia. And which is interesting because now I don't think that it would be. I think just because I've gone through so much in life, academically and professionally and personally, and I've done so much work at this, I think I've gained progress. And so the results may not reflect that I have it as strongly as I did. And so to some extent, maybe there's been some curing, but not necessarily cured kind of a thing. Either way, I really try not to put too much emphasis on it in life in general. Like, it's just another day kind of a thing, but it's still something to talk about and explore because it's something that I know I want to share and that I want to understand better. But not obsess over. And I think recently I was talking to a woman, and she said, I think you're focusing on dyslexia too much. And I'm thinking, here we go again. I'm being misunderstood because I was just giving you background. Like, I was just giving you background. You've known me for literally like 5 minutes of this car ride. And hey, maybe you're picking up on something, right? But you don't know me, and I'm really not obsessing over. Like, I don't think about it that much. I used to. I really don't think about it that much. So I was just like, I don't think that's it. But let me hear you out. Let me listen. And so she was like, yeah, I think you're focusing on dyslexia too much, and I think you need to think about this and that and da da da. And I was just like, okay, Lord, if that's you telling me that I'm focusing on it too much, I'll accept that. I don't think that's what he was saying to me though. I think what she is trying to convey, which is important, is to focus more on the good that you do have going on. Is to focus more on your gifts. Is to focus more on your talents. Is to focus more on the positive. I get that. And I do. It's just that in that moment, it doesn't look like I do. And so now you think that. Yeah. So, yeah, no. That was an interesting time. But so when I did the assessment though, and I had talked to some of the professionals there, whatever, about it, they were like, yeah, you can take an official test. There's like an actual, like, I think nationwide test or maybe state test that you can take. It does cost a lot of money, and it will help you with school and this and this and that. And I'm like, oh, I don't have that kind of money for this kind of a test. And so recently, a couple of years ago, I had decided, you know what, I think what I want to do is I want to finally take this test and see if I can get some type of help for, you know, any area of my life that may be a resource out there that I don't know about that I can gain because of this. So I looked into it. I spoke to a few people, and there is a center kind of locally that I can look into. Again, it costs a lot of money, but I think I'm gonna do it because I think it is worth it. Now, here's why I didn't do it sooner, because I know you might be thinking, well, why didn't you do this before? I didn't do it before. One, I didn't have the money. Two, I kind of would always just maybe forget to do it, maybe. But more importantly, I think there were moments where I was like, actually, I don't want anyone to know I have dyslexia. I want to do well in life. And then I want my life to be an example that you can overcome that and da 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 da. Beautiful, right? The bit of a problem with that is that, for me anyway, is that God lately has been saying to me a lot lately, I write the story, you live it. You are a storyteller. I made you a storyteller. But I write your story. You live it. Stop trying to write your story and live it. And that applies to so many other things. But because technically, in my opinion, I am successful. I've definitely done some things that I never thought little Iori, I always say this all the time, like little depressed Iori in my room, on my bed, crying my eyes out. I would have never thought I would do some of the things that I've done. I've gone into some of the rooms I've gone into, and just God has blown my mind. And so for some people, that's not a success for them, and there's more heights that they want to reach. For me, I know that God is doing more, but let me tell you, I count my life as extremely blessed, hands down, given all this like disadvantages that I've been talking about in this series. And he's been trying to tell me over and over again, I write the story. So instead of thinking like, oh, when I become successful, when I make it big, then I'm gonna share with everybody, it's just like, technically, again, I'm successful in my own right, in my mind, to me. But there isn't this big, I don't have a big platform, I don't have the big whatever, I don't have any of that. And so technically that didn't pan out. And so it's kind of like, well, what was I waiting for? I could have got the support and resources that I needed at the time that I needed them. That's what I'm saying. Like, I gotta live the life and stop trying to write it. So, yeah, I wanted to share that because I'm glad that I'm finally in a space where I want to share it more, and I want to create some type of advocacy around it at some point. But I really just want to expose the enemy, really. I love exposing him. Like, I see you over there. I see you. Like, what are you doing? Lurking. And when we keep things in a dark place, when we keep things out of the light, it allows the enemy to kind of use that to fester and hold that over your head. And make you feel like you're whatever. And a lot of that stuff is just not true. And so I know that I've been vocal about it with my village and my tribe, but I've also been like, well, I don't know if I should say anything too soon, because what about my career? What if they're gonna, like, it sounds nice that companies are equal opportunity. It sounds nice that they're like, oh, we're not gonna discriminate towards you if you've got depression. We're not gonna discriminate towards you if you've got anxiety. But if I'm honest with you, I know people are like, well, if you're good at your job, and what if that person's still learning to get good at it? What if they haven't mastered it yet? What if they're on their way to mastery and they need the job to do that? A lot of times they're like, well, if you're good at your job, you wouldn't have to worry about all of that. Sorry. Because this is the stuff that I hear, and I'm just like, not everybody is there yet. Dang. Can we catch up? Golly. But what I wanted to say is that, look, done lost the train of thought. That's also part of dyslexia, is the memory. That's the big part of it, actually. That's the bigger than the examples that I gave you and like all of the stuff that I've been saying in the series. It's the memory. The memory. I know a lot of people have different memory loss, but it is scientifically proven that that's one of the side effects of having dyslexia, is memory loss, and just like drop of a dime. Dang, what was I gonna say? It was really important. Yeah, thank you, Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is my advocate. He be helping me remember. So, doing too much. Calm it down. So, the reason why there's still been moments where, like, even recent, like, I'm not sure if I should say this, and what if, that job that I was applying for, what if, those people I was talking to for partnership, what if that client that I really wanted, once they find out I have dyslexia, they're going to be like, oh, we don't really have time to work with someone like that. We don't have time to babysit. Oh, we don't have to, because money is time. Time is money. People are moving. We don't have time for someone that might be kind of slow. No, we're just sorry. Yeah, you were a good fit, but we just, unfortunately, we don't have a lot of leeway and turnaround time for training. So we're going to have to, unfortunately, pass. Your resume is impressive, but we think there might be a different candidate for a better fit. Like, that's what I'm worried about sharing this right now, is that someone's going to watch it and be like, no, she's not going to work. But the truth of the matter is, which I already know, I'm not for everybody. I already know that. But I'm becoming, there is a difference between knowing and like doing, or like being. And my issue is that I know a lot of stuff. It's not enough to know a lot of stuff. So what that you know it? What are you doing with it? Like, that's kind of how I've been talking to myself. Like who cares that you know it? Like, okay, what are you doing with it though? I am realizing more and more that I know I'm different. I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. I know that. But there's a difference between knowing that and still embodying it. God was teaching me lessons a long time ago about being comfortable being uncomfortable. And I would write that in my journal over and over and over again. Years ago, get comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable being uncomfortable. And I've been working at it, and it ain't been easy. It has not been easy. But this is proof that I've come a long way, y'all. I am broadcasting to the world that I have a challenge, but it does not have me. I have it, and I've got it under control, and I've mastered it, and I know how to use it. Like I know how to actually use it for my good. It actually allows me to be very creative. A lot of times they find that a lot of people with learning disabilities their emotional IQ is very high. And it's so funny because before we started saying emotional IQ, I used to always just be like, I feel like I'm just super empathetic. I feel like I'm just so emotional. And I would always feel bad about it. And everybody made me feel bad about it. Like, why are you always crying? Or why are you always feeling? Why are you like, oh, I just feel bad for them because I know how that feels. And it's like, no, you don't. You're not like that. I'm like, yeah, because look, like I would always like try to understand what someone's going through. And it's just, that's something that I know that I have. But it's really important for me to not just know anymore. It's important for me to do, and it's important for me to be, and it's important for you to do. It's important for you to be. And me sharing this right now is a reminder to me that what God has for me is for me. And if someone decides that they don't want to work with me because I have dyslexia, that is their loss and not mine. Or it's just not a good fit, and that's okay. God's been keeping me. He's the one writing my checks anyway. Like, he really is the one writing my checks. He writes all of our checks. Well, he don't write all of our checks, but he writes his children's checks. Different episode. That's another episode. But yeah, I love how comfortable I've become. And I've always been transparent. So people who know me, and even if you don't know me deep, you might even be watching this like, you said this years ago. Like, what? The fact that I am doing this though, like literal broadcast, this is a literal broadcast. This shows a lot of growth. So I'm proud of myself. Good job, girl. You did it. You did it. I did it. So yeah, I did the assessment. I've decided that I am gonna get officially tested. I'm just stacking up. It's not necessarily a priority, but it is. It's kind of like, there's tiers to it. It's not the top tier priority, but it is a priority of mine. And I want to learn more about just like how the brain is working in general. I have a client that I've been working with who said, like, I believe the Hebrew language is read instead of left to right, like English and other languages, right to left. And a lot of times that's a lot how and not necessarily mine isn't that I'm reading right to left. It might be that I say something before something else. So in a sense it is that. But I'm thinking that a general thought is that some people do read backwards. And that's how people read the Torah, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you're Jewish and you're watching this, or you know anything about the Torah, you know anything about the Hebrew language or culture, whatever, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know. But I believe they're reading from right to left. And I mean, I can obviously look it up real quick as well. But this is a free-flowing show, so yeah, I think that was interesting when I learned that, and when they shared it with me and just kind of like was encouraging me, like, yeah, you do realize. And I'm like, yo, that was mind-blowing. I just thought, wow, God, that's crazy. So whole time my brain's right and y'all's is wrong. No. I'm just playing. But I do think that's interesting though. I thought that was interesting. And in fact, I think I actually knew that, but didn't put two and two together, because I've made often trips to the Museum of the Bible when people come to town, especially like if I have any kind of kid that's in my life. I've taken like, I think 3 groups of kids to the Museum of the Bible in DC. And I absolutely love it. I love that museum. And I think I remember reading about that there, or seeing that there. and possibly even before then, but I do remember that. So, but yeah, I just wanted to share that, and I think what I want to do in this space is I want to have a few accountability partners when it comes to certain stuff that I say on here. I need y'all to help me stay accountable. So the first thing, and we're gonna make a little list. The first thing I need you guys to help me stay accountable on is me making sure that I continue to look into and continue to save so that I can get my so I can get tested, officially like attested for dyslexia. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's about like $400 or $500. So it's not like, oh my God, crazy. But it's just one of those things. It's like, I'm paying bills right now. Like bills, okay. So don't really have time to just throw away $500. If you do, that's great, and I'd love to hear from you. Thanks. Hello. But yeah. So, and if you think you might have it, you know what I mean? There's quite a bit of benefits, I feel like, from it, especially if you're in school. Make sure you just, I know a lot of people are going to probably tell you don't claim it, or you don't need that, and there's nothing wrong with you. It's not enough to just say there's nothing wrong with someone. It's okay to be like, I need help in this particular way. Like, if your teacher says that your son's not like understanding the material, you're not gonna be like, ain't nothing wrong with him. You're gonna be like, oh, let's get a tutor. If your coach is like, oh, they're just coach football or something, and it's like they're not catching the ball, they're not throwing it right, they're not spiraling, whatever, I don't know, but they're not doing the thing that they need to do right. They need a little more time. We're gonna ask some more practice, and you're gonna be like, okay. It's the same thing. So, I encourage you, if any of this has spoken to you during this series, if any of this has been like, maybe I need to look into this, maybe I got a little something too, I encourage you to look into it. There are tons of free screenings online. What I can do is provide some resources in the comments below of some sites that I think are worth some credibility, some sites that I think are some sites that I've used that I think have better helped me understand like what I'm going through and what I have or whatever. So yeah, I would totally look into it. It's worth it because one, it takes that pressure off you. It took so much pressure off me when I kept learning more about this stuff. Every conversation that I've had that related to dyslexia, where I learned something new, where I learned something more. This chair got a lot to say. Jeez. Every time I was in a conversation or reading something and I gained more and more information, I felt more weight lifted off me because I knew it wasn't me. It wasn't Yori's problem. It's a problem. It's a thing and it's not even a problem. It's a learning style that a lot of other people have too. And there's tools and resources to help me with it. That's it. So, you are like me, you are a beautiful Christian. You're having a hard time with receiving a lot of what I've had to say about this. Yeah, I just pray that you feel free enough to have a conversation with Jesus about it. See what he says. Because he's the authority, not me. And neither is your pastor, but Jesus is. So I hope you feel free enough and honest enough to have that conversation with him, because he knows your heart anyway. He knows when you're not being honest. He knows when you're just talking. He still loves you, and he still loves that moment because you're still getting closer to him. But eventually, you're going to be more honest and more real with him anyway. So just get started right now. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, yeah. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you like, share, and let me know what you think. Talk to me, people. Tell me what you got going on. If I'm honest, I feel like this show is not only gonna be helpful for people watching, but if I'm honest, it's gonna be helpful for your girl. Okay, this thing is gonna be so helpful for me because it's therapeutic, and I feel like I'm just kind of releasing so much of what I've always wanted to like say or share, or like eventually, like I'm like, oh, one day, and it's just like, the day is now, the time is now. Go forth, rise to the occasion. And that's literally the verbiage I've been using for the past couple of years. Like, I'm rising to the occasion, whatever that occasion is. When it presents itself, I'm rising to it. I'm matching it, so yeah, I hope this helps you, and I hope that you'll be back for the next one. It's different. It's different. It's unpopular, but it's on purpose. Bye, y'all.